Today I'm going to review with you the pieces that you will need for the Haralson crossbody belt bag. You will first need the pattern from Noodlehead, which you can download directly from her website, or you can purchase it from your local quilt store. This has all the pattern dimensions that you'll need. I will not be giving you exact pattern dimensions as to not give away all of the secrets of the pattern. You will need some hardware. I will discuss a little bit about the hardware. You'll need some hardware to form a closure at the top. You could do a leather closure, you could do a flip lock closure, or a locks closure. This one is a locks closure. It comes like this. You need 4 pieces, and they screw together between the layers of fabric. The layers of fabric are between here, and then the other one is the receiver end. This is the ball end, and it gets tightened with a key. So if you're going to use the locks hardware, you'll need the key, the locks key. Let me show you a bag with one of those installed. Here is a bag with the antique brass locks hardware. When you pull up on that receiver end, there it is installed in the bag. And here is that ball end. And the way that the key is used on both of those installations is you twist this to tighten the hardware that sandwiches your layers. So this is the locks hardware. That's what I'll be using for my bag. You'll also need 2 swivel snaps. They will pivot and swivel and then have a little snap end on the end. Those need to be inch wide. And then you'll need 2 D-rings. This is an option for a D-ring. These also need to be inch wide. This is another option. So you need to choose what option of D-ring you want. And then you need some inch wide webbing that will be the handle that actually goes around your body. You'll need a flap fabric, your main exterior, and then some lining fabric. You'll also need to use a interfacing or a stabilizer to support that fabric. This is 2 versions, 2 colors really. This is called Shape Flex SF101. It has a fusible side and a non-fusible side. It is woven, so it still behaves like fabric, but it will support your fabric really nicely. So you can get it in black or white at your local quilt shop. In the pattern, there are recommendations of the fabrics to use at the bottom. Today I'm going to be using some fabric called wax cotton. It's a very strong, stable fabric, and it is waxed, so it has a lot of stability. You could also use plain cotton of your choice, or a canvas weight fabric, or denim. There are modifications. If you're going to use a heavier weight fabric like wax cotton, you will not need to use some of the interfacing steps when you use this heavier fabric. Let's start with our pieces. This is the flap. This one is waxed cotton, and you will need to cut your pattern out. I have made a template, and you would just lay that down and cut your piece. If you look at the pattern piece in the pattern, it is out of paper. It says to place on the fold, tells you about your grain line. So there is my template that I made using the pattern from the book or booklet. So you will need 1 flap. If you're going to do the flap out of cotton, you will need 2 pieces of interfacing that are added to this piece. So it would be cotton fabric, interfacing, and then another layer of interfacing. Since I'm using wax cotton, I don't need to do that step. So that is 1 piece, the flap. The other piece is this exterior pocket. So that pocket will be visible. That can be out of your exterior fabric. Again, I have chosen to use waxed cotton. So I do not need to use interfacing for this. Here is the paper pattern. She tells you to cut it on the fold, and you would cut one out of your exterior fabric, which is this, and you would cut one out of fusible, with the fusible being a 1/2 inch smaller, and 1 fusible with it all the way to the edge. And then here is my template piece. So that's kind of what that would look like. And your front panel, I just cut from the fold using my template. So this is out of my exterior fabric. Now you'll need to line that pocket. So the pocket is lined with whatever fabric you want to use. I have chosen to use cotton fabric. So this is from Cloud 9. It is cotton fabric. I laid it on the fold and I cut one entire piece on the fold. I next cut a piece of shape flex, or the fusible interfacing, on the fold. And then I next cut another piece of fusible interfacing that is really on the fold, but it is a 1/2 inch smaller. You can see my line that is a 1/2 inch smaller. When you go to fuse this, you will fuse it to the wrong side of the fabric. This is the right side, and you'll fuse your small piece first. Get that ironed. Shape flex does like a little steam or a wet cloth. And then after that's adhered, you will then apply the second piece. So this one gets 2 layers of interfacing, and that is the interior, or the lining to the exterior pocket actually. Next, you will need strap connectors. The strap connectors are these side panels right here, and they can be out of your exterior fabric, or I have chosen to cut them out of my lining. So the strap connectors, here is my piece in the pattern, and you lay it on the fold like so, and you cut. I have also made a template so that I have one easy to cut around. If you use a directional fabric, you'll want a strap connector in each direction. So if you look at this, I have one rabbit facing up and one facing down. That's if you use a directional fabric. If it's non-directional, don't sweat it. Then you will need to cut 2 pieces of shape flex fusible interfacing and fuse those to the wrong side of the strap connector. You should have 2 of those. Next, you'll need your main interior lining. So this piece is shaped kind of like a house. This is out of my cotton fabric. This is what my pattern piece looks like in the book or pattern. And you're going to cut on the fold, so you'll lay your fabric in half and cut on the fold. You will also cut 2 additional pieces of interfacing, one that is a 1/2 inch smaller, just like we did before. You'll fuse that down, and then you'll lay another one that goes right to the edge and fuse that down. That's your main interior panel with all the fusible. There are some additional pieces that are in the pattern, and they are written in this little labeled piece. So she has a separate piece that you can make copies of, and then you can cut these little labels out. It's either in inches or metric, and you will need to cut these pieces in addition. So once you've finished with all these pattern pieces, don't forget you got a couple more. There's also one that I almost forgot. This is the exterior back. So the exterior back will be out of your exterior fabric, and you will need, again, 2 layers of interfacing on this piece. This can be cut with a ruler, so the measurements are right here at the bottom. I have cut that piece. This is the exterior back. Since I am using wax cotton, I am skipping the step of needing the interfacing. If you used canvas or lightweight cotton, you would need 2 layers of interfacing. That's the exterior back. And lastly, these are the pieces that are on your little handout that you should make copies of so you can label them. You'll need the exterior zipper pocket lining, and that is cut as a square. So if it is directional, you don't have to worry about it because it's a perfect square, and that measurement is in the pattern. This does not get interfacing. You also need an interior zipper pocket lining, and that one is direct. If it's directional, the height is 12 inches and the width is 7.5, so pay attention to that one. That's your interior pocket lining. You'll also need some small zipper end tabs, and I am using, again, waxed cotton. So I have those cut, and they're really small. They're right here on the pattern piece. So you'll need those. And then you'll need some strap connectors. So you can cut those out of webbing. It's the way that you will actually put on your D-ring, and it will be inserted in your strap connector. So these are strap holders. I've chosen to use leather, and here is what they will look like in their stages of getting ready to sew them. So these are cut from 1-inch wide webbing, but they're 2.5 inches long, or from leather, as in this example. You'll need 2 of those. This is where your D-rings will go. Next, you will need zippers. There are zippers on the back of it and inside, and there are 2 measurements. There's a 8-inch zipper and a 6-inch zipper. If you're using zippers by the yard, I would suggest cutting them a little longer, sewing the ends, or sewing one end and then measuring to the specified measurement and sewing the other end. So zippers by the yard come in lots of colors, and what's nice about those is they can match your hardware, because the metal can match your hardware. This is gunmetal color. This is antique brass. This is antique brass on another coil. Here is also another color called rose gold. So you have lots of options for hardware colors and zipper colors. Or if you want to use zippers from your stash, you'll need an 8-inch and a 6-inch zipper. That concludes the preparation for the Harelson bag. Be sure to get all your hardware, your straps, your D-rings, and all of your pieces prepared prior to getting ready to sew. That means fusing everything and getting all of your pieces pre-cut. This will make the process of sewing the bag so much easier. Good luck!